Ukrainian armoured vehicle, and we're heading towards the Russian border. Thank you for joining Frontline and welcome to the members-only exclusive update, where today we're discussing whether or not Russia's experimental Oresnik intermediate-range ballistic missile is, as President Putin claims, unstoppable. He used his annual end-of-year press conference to threaten or to challenge the West to a duel, suggesting name any place, say in Kyiv, he said, and put all your air defences there and see whether or not this missile can get through. Is it unstoppable? Well, let's start by looking at Putin's previous claims that a missile was unstoppable. He said that about the Kinzhal hypersonic, or the Kinzhal means dagger, hypersonic cruise missile. Now, this has absolutely been shot down by Patriot air defense systems. I've put my hands through the wreckage of a downed Kinzhal in a laboratory in Kyiv. So I've seen the evidence of that myself. However, so I say that to make the point that Russia's claims are often bombast and can prove hollow. Ballistic missiles, though, are a different kettle of fish. These are much, much harder. They travel much, much faster. And the way one expert described it to me was trying to stop a bullet with a bullet. And if you think about that, that just gives you a sense of how very, very difficult it is. And fundamentally, one of the reasons it's so much more difficult is that traditional air defense missile interceptor systems work by getting close to the missile and exploding like a fragmentation grenade, sending sort of huge amounts of shrapnel, peppering the area with high velocity shrapnel, which shreds the missile and destroys it in midair. Ballistic missiles like the Oresnik are designed to leave the Earth's atmosphere, travel in the edge of space and then re-enter. Now, because they have to re-enter the atmosphere, they're made of much tougher stuff. Otherwise, they would burn up on re-entry, which means that that sort of fragmentation approach is unlikely to work. It would just bounce off the missile. It wouldn't be effective indeed, and the interceptor may not even reach it in the first place. So that's why you need a sort of hard kill approach, the bullet hitting a bullet. And I've spoken to two experts about this. One was a Western official, the other was Matthew Saville, Director of Military Sciences at the London-based RUSI think tank, who'd spoken to a number of his colleagues about this as well. And the message was that ballistic missiles, incredibly hard, but Western air defences also very serious and sophisticated capabilities. I haven't got a categorical, yes, they can be downed, no, they can't. But from the experts at RUSI, they mentioned three types of air defense missiles that are specifically designed to intercept something like Oresnik. The first is the terminal high altitude air defense missile. The second is the SM-3, the Standard Missile 3, and some of the Aster variants, which are the ballistic missile defences on board Britain's Type 45 Royal Navy destroyers. We've seen similar systems, but different systems used in Israel. The Arrow 3, there were exo-atmospheric interceptions conducted by Israel when it was defending itself from ballistic missile strikes from Iran. And you remember effectively these are missiles launching up to the edge of space to intercept the threat and to explode them in the edge of space. America has invested a huge amount of money, has spent many, many years investing in ballistic missile defense, principally because ballistic missiles are a threat and incredibly difficult to intercept, and that's why they've put so much effort into doing it. Russia's approach historically has actually been to rely on nuclear-tipped or nuclear-armed interceptor missiles, so they would not necessarily have to get as close to their targets, not necessarily a bullet on a bullet, but you get close enough to the incoming missile and then detonate a nuclear warhead, potentially on the edge of space, and that knocks out the incoming threat. I'm sorry I can't be more categorical, yes or no. Is it unstoppable? It's a sophisticated weapon. Ballistic missiles are. Russia has fired one of them. We know it's still in the experimental stage. Some experts suggesting that Russia could only manufacture about 10 of these a year if it put all its resources into doing that. It isn't putting all its resources into doing that at the moment because it is fighting a huge war across Ukraine. Vladimir Putin has, however, indicated that he may fire more of these missiles, as I said before, at decision-making centres in Kyiv. Clearly, this is a concern that is occupying a lot of thought for Ukrainian minds and the minds of Ukraine's allies. Unclear yet if it's unstoppable. Certainly, the West has weapons designed to intercept an Oresnik.